Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for a movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Us from Jordan Peele. That's right everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and welcome to another movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Us, the brand new film from director Jordan Peele, also the producer and writer. Jordan Peele, right? I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, this is...
Jelani Bullard.
This is...
Brooks.
And we are here to talk to you about Us, just like I said. So first of all, straight up, we're going to give you a spoiler-free review thought. Watch this movie. This movie is awesome. I love this movie. I think this movie is fantastic. I think it is so well done. Just to let you know, me and Brooks, we have not seen Get Out. So we have no comparisons to that film or anything like that.
Like, I haven't seen any of his movies. I haven't seen, what is it, Keanu?
Keanu.
You haven't seen
that's the name.
Yeah.
I've heard they're really good, though, but I've wanted to see them, but I just haven't.
Jelani has seen Get Out.
I've seen Get Out. It's my favorite movie
and he
of
loves
2017.
It. So,
amazing.
Straight up, I love this film. I think it's got brilliant performances. It's got a great, engaging, enthralling story, but it also has a very nice ending, a very nice wrap-up. But ultimately, what it is one of those films that as soon as I was done watching this film, I wanted to watch it again. It's one of those horror films that cements itself from the very first 5 minutes as a classic, important horror film. The music is spot on. It's great. And I'm not just talking about, I got 5 on it. I'm not just talking about that. It's a fantastic film with brilliant performances and a lot of themes, a lot of metaphors, a lot of substance and depth and just subtle messages right all throughout. And it's about so much more than what it's actually about, if that makes much sense to you. Anyway, Jelani, what did you think about Us?
It was so important for me to watch this movie.
Okay.
Because I needed a film that actually makes my mind work. And Us does that. Like, I've watched so many superhero movies and just regular, funny comedy movies, for a while now.
Yeah.
But getting into a real horror film, like engaging with it and wanting to know more. I haven't done that in a film in ages, other than Infinity War. But the speculation from this movie generates so much in my head. It occupies. The performances are wonderful. The cinematography is great with this film. I love how they show almost the duality of man in some ways.
Yes,
literally. But it's so much to think about. And I really love this film.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it again. I want to watch it very soon.
Yeah. Brooks, what do you think about this film?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, well, I'm not really a horror guy per se. I don't mind horror movies.
Yeah.
They're not really don't find them very interesting usually. Okay. But I was interested to see this one.
Yeah.
And it was actually a very good horror movie, which is, it's been a while since I can think of a horror movie that's come out that I thought,
Because it's got the scares.
Yeah, it's very creepy. It's about atmosphere instead of cheap scares,
Yeah.
Like a lot of movies throwing cheap scares and gore to kind of, make themselves seem scarier.
Yeah.
But I'm never really scared as much by that.
Yeah, no kid.
There are no jump. The jump scare that they had was funny.
They had a couple.
They had a couple of good jump scares.
They got me one good time.
Yeah.
In the movie, I'll be honest with you.
It's a lot of different things, and he made it. He knew what a horror movie structure should be.
I think the best thing though is just the storytelling in it. Like, the characters are very likable. It's like you don't want to see bad things happen.
They're likable. They're relatable too.
Yeah, it's like, and the others are just. It's like they're not evil. They're just. They're weird.
Yeah.
It's like they're having this whole world. Like there's like the whole idea that there's a world under us populated by these people that look just like us, but kind of weird and stupid. I guess.
All right, so not to venture into too much spoiler territory right now, but first of all, this film is genius. It's very good, and ultimately, very simply, it's a home invasion story where this family gets invaded by a family that looks just like them, but slightly different, right? And we've gathered all that from the trailers. And I think that it's like Jordan Peele, who wrote, produced, and filmed this movie, and he directed this film. He's a master of suspense. He understands the pacing of a horror film. He understands how to give you a scare. He understands when to give you a humorous moment right before something that is going to happen that's big. He understands pacing, deliberate, intentive placement in film. He understands that.
It's shocking.
And it's masterful because of it. Yeah. Right? It's a masterful film. It's very engaging. And it's incredibly, thought-provoking. To me. Lupita Nyong'o plays...
She's Adelaide.
And she also plays her double, Red.
Yeah.
So each of the main actors play their own double as well. Yeah. So the acting in this film is superb. Because they're each playing two roles. Even the children.
Normal versions and then stupid versions. Kind of.
Yeah, but even the children, do it with perfection.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
They're two different characters.
Yes.
And they work so well.
I think the daughter doppelganger was the creepiest.
She was. Her name was Umbri, which is the plural form of Umbra, which is the darkest part of a soul. Or you get what I'm saying? And then I can't remember the kid's name.
Can't remember the kid's name.
But his double's name is Pluto.
Yeah.
Lord of the Underworld. There's all this stuff, obviously, about the shadow.
Right.
About the underground.
Right.
About the other side of us. There's so much that's thematically rich, and I love the performances. Nyong'o, she is so good in this film.
She really is.
She's already won an Academy Award, but if she is not at least nominated for this one, it's a travesty. Because she is so freaking good in this film. She's amazing. What do you think about her performance?
Man, I feel that she captured this role perfectly. Her mannerisms for both characters, and the way she layered what she was doing. And oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil anything. There's not much I can talk about in this film. You really have to kind of watch this film.
She's brilliant.
It's easy to slip into spoilers on this one.
Yeah, we'll get there in just a second. But she's brilliant. What do you think about her performance in this role?
It was very good.
Very good. Winston Duke plays Gabe / Abraham.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was great, and that's if you're not familiar with her work, but if you watch Black Panther, that is Nakia and M'Baku. Right. And Winston Duke as Gabe is so great in this role. He's a little cheesy. At times, I was thinking Jordan Peele could have done this role.
Bad jokes.
How many times? What do you think? Jordan Peele could have played that role.
Yeah.
It would have been really
that's how
fun.
he sees himself too. Yeah, that's how it's written.
It's a master of suspense. The kids were amazing.
I love the kids.
The White family, they're good too.
They're great.
It's what's her name from Handmaid's Tale.
Ross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it Ross? Yeah.
She's a Mad Men.
Yeah.
Oh, is it
they were
Olsen?
great.
No,
it's not Olsen.
It's Ross.
Olsen is Scarlet Witch.
It's Ross.
Yeah. Perfect satirical work. It's really, really fun.
It's so great.
So now we are going to get into spoiler territory. So first of all, I say watch this movie if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Watch it.
Watch it. Please watch it.
And now we're getting into spoiler territory.
So don't listen after this.
Man, what is this movie about?
Seen this movie.
What is this movie about? Let me tell you what I think this movie's about. I think this movie is about so much. I think it's about the underside of America. The first thing that Red says is when she asks, who are you? We are Americans. Mm-hmm. Right? There's the whole Hands Across America thing.
Right. At the very beginning of the movie, there's this television screen that shows old TV commercials.
Yeah.
And there's a really long one about the Hands Across America.
Which we remember.
Which was 1986. I was a young, but a boy.
But a child.
But it was basically people holding hands across America for one day.
To raise money for support for Africa.
Yeah.
Because it was the same organizer of this event was the same guy that organized the whole We Are the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
One of those, and it's one of those misplaced.
It is,
good intention, but misplaced good intentions.
Can actually do that
kind of thing. Like they claimed a rate that they were going to raise $50 to $100 million.
Yeah.
They raised 35, and only 15 million of that went. Now that's 15 million that didn't exist beforehand, right?
Yeah, but that goes
big
fast.
Deal. But it adds this idea to me that what Jordan Peele is trying to say is there's this hypocrisy in America. There's this hypocrisy in us. Mm-hmm. Right?
I agree.
It's us.
I agree.
And it's like we like to bury our past. So, for instance, at the very beginning of the film, when what's her name? Adelaide. When Adelaide goes into the house of mirrors, and there's a lot of mirror, other, doppelganger, Alice in Wonderland type stuff going on, right? So when she first goes there, it's like the Native American Vision Quest. Like the Indian Vision Quest is what they call it, or something like that, right? And it's a good statement on the idea of, like, as Americans, how we take a tortured and wrong history. And at first, we kind of, like, celebrate it in a weird way.
Yeah,
right?
We do.
Right? And, like, obviously nowadays, that wouldn't fly.
No.
So they do the Merlin's Vision Quest in the modern day, when her son goes into the Hall of Mirrors, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's saying this is a terrible appropriation of a tragedy that the Americans perpetrated on an indigenous species.
Wow.
Right?
Well, yeah.
But all we do nowadays is have a glossy new coat of paint over it, but it's still the same horror inside. Because ultimately, inside of this Hall of Mirrors is the portal, basically, to this underworld. Where these others, which are called the tethered, they call themselves the tethered, exist. Which they are the shadow selves of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's why they put the whole underground tunnels thing underneath. And to me, very much like The Shining, which I think this movie, first of all,
it's so trippy.
It really homages a lot of classic horror films, but I think it has more to do with The Shining, where it's a very simple story. Home invasion, right?
That's it.
But that's not the story. The story is about the style. The story is about the substance, the under substance, the underneath. And it's that us is us. The villains are us, and that's part of the twist at the end. What do you think this movie is overall trying to say?
It's saying so much, though.
Yeah, it is.
You get one side of two coins that look amazing. You have like a family that's trying to just, have a normal vacation, just a normal fun time together. And then this home invasion does happen, and it changes everything because, what if you see yourself?
Yeah.
I'm seeing myself.
Do you remember how creepy the strangers were?
They were like amazing.
But this is like that to the
highest
like
level,
as if Orson Welles if Orson Welles remade The Strangers.
I don't even know where to begin with this story. Like, you find out so much as you go through.
Yeah.
And I still want people to watch this, so I really don't want to spoil this.
Well, right now we're in spoiler territory. So,
I know,
what do you think this movie ultimately is about? Spoilers included.
I think the twist itself.
Yeah.
When you find out that the whole time that the mother in this movie, Adelaide is actually there you go.
Yeah.
She is the actual doppelganger of the original Adelaide. They at the very beginning of this movie, this girl goes into the funhouse and sees herself, and then she screams, and it cuts to black. That's the very beginning of the movie.
Notice that
I love how that's
in both eras of the film, 86 and current day. Outside of that funhouse, it says "Find yourself."
Find yourself.
Oh,
always find yourself. And the fact those tunnels are there, it shows that there is another world. There is something that we push down.
Yeah.
And it shows the darker side of us, and what we need to better about ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know that there were people down there. And how would they even know how to speak or anything? There have so many questions.
She's the only one that knows how to speak because she was raised above ground. Yeah.
And it's so weird.
But that's why she has a limited
Who started
speech.
this? There's so many questions.
The idea is that I think the idea is that they've always been there because it's the Carl Jung idea of the shadow, right? Anything inside of yourself that you don't recognize, like that you are a violent person, that you're a lustful, greedy, envious person, that all those negative traits that typically, especially in America and especially in the 80s, and that's one of the things about the Hands Across America campaign, is the 80s and especially these misguided 80s attempts to like solve world peace and world hunger. They're basically glossing over, we're not terrible. We're good people. We're going to hold hands across America. Come on. We're going to right.
And it was supposed to feel that way.
But all you're doing is burying that down inside of yourself. And that's a Jungian philosophy of the shadow. And that's something they're referencing right now in the Immortal Hulk comic book, for instance.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you do not recognize that you have the shadow self, if you do not completely integrate that into your own personality and recognize that we have the capability of terrible things that we're ashamed of, right? That comes out. Why do we have so many politicians that say one thing and they get found out that they do the other? It's because they're hiding and suppressing that shadow self, right? This movie is
Jordan Peele,
this movie to me is about how America, civilization, society as a whole has suppressed all this terrible past, all this terrible capability, destructive capability we have. Slavery, genocide, extermination, whether it was the African slaves, whether it was the Native Americans, like no matter what, whether it's current day situations, we and at least in my opinion, we shove all this stuff down, especially in the 80s, and we go, we are good because we are the world. We are right, and it just comes across as so fake, so phony, and eventually that shadow is going to bubble up and it's going to take over. And to me, the underground tunnels represent the underground civilization of America, of society, right? What do you think this movie means, Brooks?
Well, I think I may have told you this at some point, but I have a kind of strange, irrational fear about being replaced by an evil doppelganger, replaced or murdered.
This is legitimately true.
I think it has something to do with I can't remember exactly what, but a scene from a movie or something, where someone's looking in a mirror and the image in the mirror does something different.
Yes,
something like that. Just
really, or something.
That's something really disturbs me about that kind of thing and that idea. And
how did it feel in this movie when she grabbed her she grabbed her throat?
In this whole movie, the whole idea is just something that disturbs me. So that's why I was interested. I think because it's something this movie could actually disturb me or upset me.
Yeah.
And I was actually looking for it, and it was disturbing.
Yeah.
And it's
hard to sleep after that.
It's just a damn good, fun flick, man.
Ultimately, what do you think Peele's trying to say about society? Because I think
there's a lot of things.
Yeah, because I think the best horror films are social commentary.
Yeah.
George Romero, every zombie movie.
Movies,
all that stuff. It says something about society. Jordan Peele gets that.
Yeah.
He understands that.
Wow.
This movie is right along that line.
I can't wait to watch it.
What is it saying about society?
Yeah, it's like this whole shadow world.
Yeah.
It's so disturbing just because it's exactly what we're doing. No, nothing is really different. Just they're acting
they
mirror doing
everything.
Weird things,
Yeah.
They're not talking, they're just being weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that these people are just living below us while we're going about our lives, it's just something about it just.
What about the idea about
me.
There's some kind of organization event at some point that attempts to use these beings to manipulate above ground society?
They have to.
So if we represent our conscious brains, and they would obviously represent something in the subconscious. The idea that them are influencing us through our subconscious, right? And it's why the little girl throws out the line, did you know that they're controlling us through the fluoride in the water?
Yeah.
So there's those questions, right?
God, it threw that in. I forgot about that too.
Are they controlling us? But ultimately, they are us. Because to answer some questions in the movie, the twist ending,
awesome.
That is
throws you off.
The other version.
Yeah.
Red is actually the real
Adelaide.
Adelaide. And Adelaide is actually the real Red. If that makes sense, okay?
Yeah.
I thought so smart. I figured this out so early in the movie.
The Hands Across America.
He should feel good.
Yeah, he should, because I wasn't even
I
expecting
didn't see it until it happened.
At all. I
didn't even notice it. And I was like,
the moment she made the guttural sounds, and even though she was dying, she choked Red out because she was whistling.
Yeah.
Down, like, Along Comes a Spider.
Yeah.
What is it?
Itsy Bitsy
Spider.
Yeah,
that's what it is. But she's whistling that because that's what she whistled
when she was
lost.
walking. Yeah.
Oh, when she was trying to find herself. Oh my god. But she found
God
us
brought us together
instead. Oh my goodness. Right? This movie's got so many layers.
It's so weird.
So much subtext.
I love this movie, man. Go see it. If you haven't seen it, see it again.
By now, I hope you see it.
Yeah.
The Hands Across America. That's the shirt that she changes for Thriller.
Yep.
Thriller. Jordan Peele apparently is on record in an interview saying he used Thriller because Michael Jackson is a figure that represents duality.
Yeah.
Because this film is about duality. The duality of civilization, the duality of man and woman, the duality of humanity as a whole. So there's that, but the other shirt was the Hands Across America. They start with that ad. Apparently, even like when they're in the middle of making this movie, he saw this ad on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it started making sense, and we've already talked a little bit about that. But notice that they are, the advertisement for it looks like people that are cut out.
Yeah.
You used to make those little, like, cutouts of people, and they would look like they're holding hands.
Yeah.
So where do the scissors come from?
The scissors are it's just a weapon.
It is.
And it's two sides.
Yeah, it's two sides.
Two-sided weapon.
Well, they're trying to sever their connection from their others, too.
Right,
they're severing their connection, and if you look at those scissors in particular, it looks like two bodies.
Different sides.
Like it's one and the mirror.
Right.
Right?
Mm.
Oh, my goodness.
It's so much.
It's so... We call it the untethering. Oh, my goodness. It's also just the way they're made, is with the scissors, the red jumpsuits, and the glove, the singular glove. It makes an excellent Halloween costume. I'm going to do an Us character. I'm going to do the Us version of me this year. I invite you guys to do it with me. I'm going to try to get everybody at the PCP Halloween party this year to do this.
We can do Hands Across Huntsville.
And we'll do Hands Across. We'll at least do Hands Across PCP, right? Anyway, I love it. I think it looks it looks as simple and as iconic as Mike Myers, as Jason Voorhees, as the Frankenstein monster.
It's
right?
a horror
It's
movie.
that iconic.
It's a thriller.
The scissors represent the cutting of the tether. It represents two scissors are actually two mirrored pieces. Back to back, right? And they kind of look like bunny ears. What are the bunnies about? Some people may have some questions about the bunnies.
I did.
I knew Jordan Peele wanted the bunnies because he was afraid of bunnies.
Jordan Peele is to bunnies as M. Night Shyamalan is to water.
Pretty much, yeah. Him and water. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now that I've said that Shyamalan's a hack, I've never said that about any director, but he is after Glass. But Jordan Peele...
It's Glass that made you think that?
It is Glass. Glass did it other than the crappening.
Oh, the crappening.
The crappening.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
No. Yeah, right. No, we're not. Why are we talking about us? We're talking about us.
But I'm talking about that because Jordan Peele is at that higher Sixth Sense level where he is actually thought-provoking and exactly what he wants to tell in this story. Yeah. I have no idea. I need to watch it at least 2 more times.
Yeah.
I can wrap around my head around everything. When you find out that twist and you realize that she was down there and planning all of this time, the doppelgangers probably would have just continued doing their thing.
Yeah.
Until this happened. And it's creepy, just unsettling how good this movie is.
It's like they represent all the all the bad experiences, all the stuff that we bury in our lives in order to be happy, and we bury these negative feelings sometimes. It's like they had to bury the brunt of all of that.
Yeah.
You know, because she even says when she first shows up, it's like, while you had this amazing Prince Charming. I had this.
Yeah.
Right?
This yelling idiot.
When you were eating these glorious feasts, I was eating rabbit. That's where the rabbits come from. The rabbits is the food source. They just fed them rabbits, which ultimately, if you know anything about nutrition, rabbits are high in protein, low in fat content.
How did they survive before they were fed rabbits then?
It's probably rabbits and probably some gruel and maybe some vegetables.
How did they get rabbits down there?
But the rabbits are also representative of an Alice in Wonderland metaphor.
This mythos needs some work.
No, because the rabbits are also... I think the true meaning of this film is all in the metaphor. Right?
They ate rabbits, man.
Not only did they eat rabbits, but it's the white rabbit. Come into the mirror, Alice. Come to the underworld. Come to the reverse side. See what it is like when you trip shrooms. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the idea of the rabbits to me. Do you get that with the rabbits?
A little bit.
And the underground, and they were talking about the underground, and at first you're like, oh, they're talking about... And the other thing with the rabbits, they start off with that beautiful music by Michael Abels.
Yeah.
Who did... It did a creepy-ass remix of I Got Five on It by Lunas. Right? Which is from the trailer, and we just love that, right?
Man.
And the only lyric that they use in that remix is "creeping on, yeah, creep on in." Absolutely, right? So creepy. But that main theme, which is called Anthem, he hum sin,
yeah, man.
He hum.
It's just like the beginning of Get Out.
It is the music is. It's something that's reminiscent of The Omen, creepy. Rosemary's Baby, Suspiria,
Babel?
Halloween, like The Exorcist.
It's a horror film.
These like unsettling,
he crafted this.
These unsettling, infectious tunes these themes that immediately get in your head and stay there and dwell. Yeah. Like this movie makes me dwell on it like no other. As soon as I was done, I wanted to listen to music over and over again. As soon as I was done watching it, I wanted to watch it again. That's how films
should be anyway.
That's how they should all be.
They should incorporate music to tell your story. Not many films are doing that nowadays. It's just, nah.
Thank God for James Gunn.
That's right. Thank you, James Gunn.
And Jordan Peele.
Thank you, Jordan Peele.
Like, no kidding. Who would ever thought that I Got Five on It would be the creepiest song you have ever heard?
Oh, man.
Another thing about the reverse, real quick. Jeremiah 11:11 is a Bible verse that's mentioned very often in this. First of all, I think the reason why it's mentioned is not just the context or the actual meaning of the verse, but that it's 11:11. It's a reverse. Do you get what I'm saying? 11:11. There's an underside to it. Get it? Right? But the verse itself, in response to an Israel, or should I say more specifically, a Judah, because Israel was split at the time. Jeremiah was a prophet that was speaking apparently through God to the Judean people, and this was a message to the people that wouldn't listen to the warnings that have already been given to them. And he says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord." This is King James Version. Because I love the language in that.
I love King James so much.
"Behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." And that's an ominous Bible message, by the way, right? Yeah. So it's already an ominous message. You add in the flip side of the reverse, the 11 and the 11. Now, every time I look at 11:11, when I came home last night from watching this movie and I looked in the mirror, I was like staring at myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, so real quick, final thoughts. I love this film. I think it's amazing. It's so rich, so filled with meaning and metaphor. What do you think?
Man, it was great. I love the kids. I loved the spectacle of it. Yeah. The fact that it was a very simple story told very well. You get so much out of it in one bang. Like, that was, an hour and a half? Maybe? 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was quick, though. It was very quickly paced.
You could tell that he really studied his craft. And I salute you, Jordan Peele, man. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Brooks, overall, what do you think about the film?
It's great. I recommend it. It's a good horror movie. It's like... I don't think I actually own any horror movies except maybe Alien.
Yeah, but you'll probably buy this one.
Yeah, I'll probably buy this one because I really do. I actually want to watch it again.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, it makes you feel scared, but in a good way. You know?
Yeah. It makes you feel like scared, like, ooh, that was a good warning.
Good. Yeah.
Let me get my shit together. Speaking of getting our shit together, we do ratings here out of 5 possible you digs, 5 being the highest, Jelani, what do you rate this film?
Well, duh. That's 5.
5 out of 5. Perfect score from Jelani. Why? Perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect score because it's a perfect film.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its problems, but I do it once again on my watchability.
Yeah.
Will I watch this again? Yeah, I can't wait to watch it now.
Yeah. I want to watch it right now.
I want to watch it right now.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather be watching this film than doing
this video. Yes.
That's the first time I've ever said that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so nuanced, and it takes some time for me to wrap my head around everything that happened. Because I gotta watch it again. Because I need to find out what else happens. I need to find out how I didn't know the twist.
It's definitely one of those films that from the get-go you know it's going to be rewarding on repeated views.
Yeah. Did you ever confirm if there was a post-credit scene in this movie?
No,
we left. I left. Yeah.
So nobody knows?
No.
Nobody
knows.
Wikipedia would tell us.
Maybe there is.
There's like a teaser for the Us spin-off movie.
Film.
Yeah.
Us squared. I don't know. Brooks, out of 5 possible you digs.
I'd give this one a 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Why 4?
It is a very good movie, and I really enjoyed it. But it is still kind of a horror movie, which is not really my thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as far as horror movies go, this is like
Is 4 the highest you would give a horror film?
No, I could give like a really good one, maybe a 5.
Okay. But 4 very respectable. That's over respectable. That's very, very good. I'm with Jelani 5. I think this is a 5-star film. I think it's a 5 you dig film for sure. I think it's filled with subtext and nuance and subtlety and depth and layers. I think it works on the surface level of just being like this home invasion scary thriller because it's very suspenseful. It's got some nice scares in it, but it reaches deeper than that, like true, like masterpiece horror films do for me. Films like Suspiria, films to me like The Omen, films like those that like The Exorcist, like those levels of films that like they reach deeper. The Romero films, the Argento, the Carpenter stuff, like some of the, it's so much more than about what, like true horror to me is a reflection on ourselves. And what is a truer reflection on the horror of ourselves than us?
Man,
it doesn't get better than this, and it's going to be really difficult for these other scrub-ass movies we're going to watch this year to top this for me. Because to me, this is the best movie I have seen in a long time, because immediately when I was done watching this film, I wanted to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. Immediately.
That was Mallrats for me, surprisingly.
Well, that's Mallrats not 5 you digs.
I know, it's not a 5 you digs, but I watched it. I wanted to see it.
Yeah. Great performances.
So
great directing. Masterful.
It is great.
Masterful. Eloquent, and masterful. Right?
Yeah.
So 5 you digs, 4 you digs, for an average of 4.44447932049 PEELE. Jordan Peele. Thank you so much. That's what we think. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about Us? Was it worth the hype? Because it was very much hyped up. Or was it a little disappointing for you? Just let us know in the comments down below how much you love or hate this film, but don't get too much. Why did I even invite them to hate this film? We love this film. Tell us why you love this film. It's so great. Watch it. It's so good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for checking out Pop Culture Philosophers. If you haven't already, please do like, share, and subscribe, and join us at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot more. And yes, that podcast is coming back very, very soon. And we will be here next week to review Dumbo. Are you going to be here for Dumbo?
I'll be here for Dumbo.
You going to be here for Dumbo?
I guess I'll be here for Dumbo.
You're going to be here for Dumbo.
Yeah.
We're
I got a lot to say about Dumbo.
Yeah, we do. Anyway, hopefully there aren't any, like, racist-ass birds in this Dumbo film. Anyway, we love Us. Please do check it out and let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. This is
Jelani Bullard.
And this is
Brooks.
The magnificent you are for joining us here. Thank you so much for rocking with us. You dig?